Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome, welcome. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Everybody that's watching, like the video. We're coming on now.
Call toll free 1-855-FLA.
Welcome, welcome.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Call the show toll-free. Dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1. And now, here's Steve Kane.
Welcome, everyone. It's 3 minutes after 6 o'clock in the morning. And because we had Monday off for Memorial Day, it is Thursday already. Oh, man, it seems like Wednesday, but it is Thursday. The week is almost over. Tomorrow is Friday. Welcome, welcome. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig, and the phones are working today, which is great. I came in early, and we did a test on the phones, and our incredible engineer, Don the engineer, the best radio engineer in the business, came in here yesterday and fixed everything. So everything is up and running today. So that's very nice. There's a lot going on, a lot to talk about. If you're watching on YouTube, you may think I just rolled out of bed. That is not the case. I am fully dressed, but I am wearing my MyPillow bathrobe. And the reason I'm wearing my MyPillow bathrobe, I'll talk about this more as the show goes on. And underneath it, of course, I'm wearing my Trump 2024 shirt underneath my MyPillow bathrobe. It's kind of like a Clark Kent thing, you know. But the reason I'm wearing my MyPillow bathrobe today is because they are back in stock for both men and women. The MyPillow bathrobes have been out of stock for a while, especially for the ladies. And the MyPillow bathrobes are in stock and available with a great discount. With the promo code KANE, you save 30% off your MyPillow bathrobe, a perfect gift for Father's Day. So go to MyPillow.com, take advantage of that 30% off. And by the way, there's an offer that'll pop up on the screen to save another $10 off the money you save with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. In fact, I just ordered 2 of these robes yesterday as a gift for a couple of people. So, yeah, that's right. Buy gifts for people. And I use the promo code KANE as well and got 30% off both of the MyPillow bathrobes I bought. So if you go on YouTube, you can watch me in mine. Brought it in from home this morning. All right. Everyone's talking about these Fauci emails. And Cortez and Pellegrino last night on Newsmax TV, I think, they had Dr. Atlas on. I think they had an incredible program. Tucker talked about it last night, too. The Fauci emails, you know, now I kind of figured out, oops, sorry, dropped my mic. I realized how the Fauci emails were leaked and why they were released. BuzzFeed has an article, which I'll go through a little bit and about it. The press started covering, I've been asking for the last week, why are they covering the Wuhan lab? Why are they all of a sudden assigning proper blame? And what's going on? And why is Fauci the center? And now I realize they're trying to get ahead of things. It was coming out. These Fauci emails were obtained through a Freedom of Information Act request. And they're trying to get ahead of it because everything was about to come out. So they wanted to condition the American people with their spin of the Fauci defense. And these emails are damning of Dr. Fauci. And there's a lot of problems here with the entire incident, and there's a big lesson to be learned here that I know Tucker Carlson last night was talking about Dr. Fauci committing crimes, certainly lying to Congress on more than one occasion, it would seem, because this guy could never stop talking, and his emails early on in the pandemic shed a lot of light on what was on his mind then, which is completely contrary to what he said publicly and including when testifying in Congress. There's a number of issues here. I'm not going to get into the details of the minutia of the medical science because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, and I just have a layman's opinion on such things. But there are a couple of things I want to talk about and take your calls today. Again, the phones are working. So if you have any comments on things we discussed yesterday, we will allow that today as well, within limits, since our phones were out of commission yesterday. But again, they're back working. One of the things is this. This country, pretty much not just America, the society of the planet, for quite some time, for about a year, was turned over to the control of Dr. Fauci. Think about that. What's going on, like I was watching Cortez and Pellegrino on Newsmax TV last night, and they were talking about the kids being forced to wear masks in school and student athletes having to wear masks during track meets and things like this, very terrible things. This is beyond just that. Fauci was the most powerful person on the planet for about a year. And we have witnessed, not just in America, but worldwide, the largest, I think, shift in the culture and our civilization that's happened in maybe 1,000 years. Mask wearing is going to be permanent for a lot of people now. Not necessarily because they're a liberal loon. A lot of people are brainwashed and panicked and scared. But I remember once there was one of the press conferences. This is when I first started to turn on Fauci. It was in the early days when President Trump was doing those marathon 2.5-hour press conferences every day in the afternoon with Birx and Fauci. And it's when the social distancing was first being discussed. In fact, I don't even think we had the term social distancing yet, but they were talking about keeping our distance. And Fauci told a story while he was standing next to President Trump about how he was out walking the street with his wife in D.C., and they went by a restaurant, and that they saw that the people waiting in line to pick up their food from the restaurant, because you couldn't dine inside, were staying 6 feet apart. He was just so amazed that they were doing this on their own. And he had his power and authority was based on the fact that there was a lot of, if you weren't afraid this time last year and earlier, you were out of touch with reality. I was terrified. I was worried about my family. My wife has a serious heart and lung illness, where just a common cold could develop a pneumonia and she would die on a normal day before COVID. So, I was very concerned and had a lot of worries. I was afraid March, February, March, April time, I was afraid there was going to be a complete economic collapse. And I think a lot of you probably felt the same way. It was very scary, wasn't it? It was. Steve and I we didn't miss a show. We broadcast through that entire thing. Because I thought it was important for us to be here every day talking to you about what was going on. And also it helped, it's a good distraction, work, isn't it? But it was some scary times. And now what we're finding is a hack, corrupt bureaucrat contradicted what he was saying in private publicly, and the control of America and the world was turned over to this guy. And one of the lessons that must really be taken from these emails, there's many things that can be taken from this email dump, and I think the emails stop in April, but one of the things that we really need to take away from it is this. Don't let fear get us to compromise our freedoms and turn control over our society to an unelected bureaucrat. And I'll tell you this about doctors. I have a lot of respect for doctors. I know doctors. I'm friends with doctors. And my experience is that the best doctors are in private practice. Even if they're working out of a hospital, they got a private office. The doctors that work for the government are the mediocre doctors. Can't make it in private practice. And I think Fauci is an example of that. And one thing I talked about even last year with Fauci, when Fauci was first starting to be exposed, is you got a little man, literally, physically, government bureaucrat. Even though he's the highest paid person in the federal workforce, he makes more money than the President of the United States because he's had that job for so many years. he's just an unknown bureaucrat. And the pandemic, well, that was his boat coming in. That was his ship coming in. He was powerful. He was important. Everyone cared for the first time what he thought, what he had to say. People were sitting, standing, doing this, doing that, based on what he told us in any particular day. And we have a very sick man on a power trip with a lot of power through fear. I don't think we've ever had someone come along so quickly and take control of a people in such large numbers by the millions. You can go through history and look at dictators, but I think he swept power faster than most dictators and much easier. So, yeah, they're hanging everything on Fauci, but there need to be lessons learned from it. That's for sure. Now, our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. There's some other things, too, I'll be sharing as the show goes on. Let me take a call or two, and then I'll bring up some more stuff. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, Brian. It's Vincent Wellington. What's going on?
All right, Wellington. What's on your mind?
Yeah. I'm telling you, a little later on, I mean, I wasn't really fond of him anyway, or Burke, but to be honest, when he had that press conference with Cuomo, when he was talking about Al Pacino and Jerry De Niro, it just went to show that these people are actors, and they're fake, you know?
I don't know about actors. I wouldn't. Actors gives them too much credit. You know, you got a liberal, unknown bureaucrat who all of a sudden is given the keys to the whole planet, and everyone on the planet Earth does what he says, whether it's wear a mask or doesn't travel or doesn't go to work or doesn't go out to eat. You got a corrupt, mediocre bureaucrat who all of a sudden is given control of the earth, and his power got out of control.
Yep. And I mean, like I said, if you have a press conference like that where you call yourself an actor, I mean, it must be pretty arrogant. That's pretty arrogant. You know what I mean?
Well, it's pretty arrogant when you're posing by the pool for magazine, spreads and everything with sunglasses on.
And then you change your voice with a $25,000 surgery in the middle of all that stuff, you know?
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard that. Fauci?
The COVID, yeah.
I've never heard that before. Yeah, that's the least of our problems. All right, I appreciate the call. All right, now listen, I'm going to take our first break, and I'll continue with this. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Now, our Steve Kane 2022 Maga cruise is right around the corner. It's in January, and this is our biggest cruise yet. We have more people booked on this cruise than we have had on any of our previous cruises. And the last one we did was a pretty big one too. And this one is bigger even than that one. And this one's 9 days. We leave on a Friday, and we come back the following Sunday. So Steve and I will be off the air live for a week. But we'll be back. And we've got some great stops. We leave January 21st out of Fort Lauderdale, and right out of Port Everglades. We're going to go to Aruba, which I've never been to before. I'm very excited. Bonaire, Curacao. Never been to any of those three destinations. And we have a fourth stop, which is in Grand Cayman, which is beautiful. And we're planning shore excursions and events at our destinations. We are also planning a lot of events on the ship itself. We have dinner together every night. We have the best dining, seating available on the ship. All of the tables in our group are on the windows, so we have a view of the ocean while we're dining, which is great. A great view. You won't want to miss that. And it's just a great time. We're planning events on the ship throughout the week, especially on the days when we are not in a port of call. When we're out at sea, we're planning events throughout the day. We're doing the first night. We always do a live in-person talk show, and this is one you will not want to miss, because Steve and I are going to talk about a lot of things in our live talk show on our cruise in January that you will not hear us talk about on the radio, in ways you will never hear us talk about on the radio probably. So you will not want to miss that, and it's just a great time. Cruising is starting up this month out of Florida, and next month, regular cruising is going to begin. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. Make your reservation. Again, it's January 21st is when we leave. Drinks included as well, and you'll have a great time. We're going on the Celebrity Equinox, which is newly remodeled and refitted, and even got a new paint job. It's a new color too, but they've totally remodeled and refitted the entire inside of the ship. We took a cruise on this ship a couple of cruises back, and out of all the ships we went on, the Celebrity Equinox has been my favorite, and it's been totally remodeled and refitted. I'm very much looking forward to that. So give Ian a call. Make your reservation now, because this month and next month, when the cruising resumes, these ships are going to fill up fast, and because of some of the restrictions, they're limiting the number of passengers. They are only booking the ship about half capacity, about 50% capacity, which means we're basically going to have our own private cruise ship on this one, which I'm really looking forward to. But those two things are going to change when the cruises resume. One, they're going to book up like mad, and the prices are going to increase. And we've got very, very low prices. You will not be able to book prices anywhere near as low as we have available right now. But you got to call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. I'm going to give you his number. If you miss this number, it is listed at SteveKaneShow.com. This is for the Steve Kane Maga 2022 cruise out of Fort Lauderdale, leaving January 21st. Okay, here's Ian's number, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. I'm bringing my daughter with me, and you are all invited too, except Liberal Al the John. He's not invited to be in our group. In fact, he is specifically forbidden from being in our group. But the rest of you are all invited. It's a great MAGA group. All right, yeah. Now, so the Fauci emails, they're revealing how corrupt he is, and how he was saying things early on in private that he contradicted later, and was lying to us about a lot of things like masks and such. And the next phase of this is going to be, talking about, once people get over the email dump of Fauci emails, the next phase of it is going to be, how and why did this happen? And I was looking at the BuzzFeed article. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but let me read the headline. Let me pull up the BuzzFeed article is what set all this off this week. It was kind of like a preemptive article because BuzzFeed is very liberal. And here's the headline. Anthony Fauci's emails reveal the pressure that fell on one man. That's the headline. Thousands of pages of communications obtained by BuzzFeed News show how Fauci tried to keep Americans calm and develop an effective strategy despite conflicts with the Trump administration. I like how they say this, the pressure that fell on one man, Fauci. And then they have a picture of him in a mask, which he said in these emails don't do anything. Okay. See, there were two pandemics in this country last year. Two pandemics. Of course, COVID was one. But the other pandemic, which was going on before last year, some still suffer from it, and there's no real true treatment for it, is Trump derangement syndrome. Trump derangement syndrome and COVID-19 were two pandemics that really were overtaking this country. And what I think the emails show more than anything, beyond the corruption of Fauci, he'll retire with a massive pension and make money doing this and doing that all the time. But everyone looking to blame Fauci, and there's a lot of blame to lay on Fauci for the economic hit and all the different problems we've had. But there's a lot of blame to be put on Democrats and the media because their Trump derangement syndrome was always looking for something to justify it, right? And Trump derangement syndrome is a mental condition, right? It's not for those of you that aren't familiar. And what the media, what Democrats, both elected and regular people on the street that are Democrats, were using Fauci for was to justify their Trump derangement syndrome and and use it to bring down Trump. If you remember in that State of the Union at the beginning of last year, before everything hit, President Trump mentioned in that State of the Union the lockdowns from China because of COVID. Remember this? That they were all against on the left, and then that's when Pelosi ripped up the State of the Union. Fauci was a useful idiot, and COVID was, remember Rahm Emanuel, never let a crisis go to waste. Fauci was a useful idiot, and COVID was a crisis that the Democrats and the media used to bring down President Trump because they wanted anything to bring this guy down. The Mueller investigation cleared Trump. They cleared him. And that was a big letdown for them. I remember when that report came out. When the report itself came out, it was such a letdown for the media. They couldn't believe that he was cleared. And then Mueller testified in front of Congress, remember, about his findings. This was a couple weeks after the report came out. And I remember I was watching CNN. One of the anchors on CNN said, well, reading the report itself is a little dry and academic, but hearing the author read his own words in front of Congress, they were always grabbing onto a hope that the next thing would bring Trump down. Access Hollywood, the Miss Universe, Miss Piggy. I like people that don't get shot down. The Mueller investigation, Stormy Daniels, Avenatti. They were always looking for the next thing that was going to bring Trump down, and nothing ever brought him down. And then they had Fauci, they had COVID, and this was their chance. That's why Cuomo was having daily press conferences every day at 11 o'clock. He was trying to become the leader of the country politically and doing his press conferences before President Trump. And those press conferences ended up being a large part of his downfall, Cuomo. But Fauci was being used, and everything about Fauci was being used for those suffering from Trump derangement syndrome to bring down the President Trump. And maybe it did. Maybe that was effective. Another question that's going to start, people now are just processing the email dump. But now that we're learning that it came from the lab, not from the wet market, I mean, who has an open food place with like buffet right next to a biological laboratory? The next questions, and Rand Paul's already talking about this, is, okay, well, it came from the lab. Was it an accident or not? And if you really paid attention to President Trump in his press conferences last year, he was blaming China and the lab early on and suggesting that it was not an accident. And, President Trump, the greatest president ever, the first president ever, going all the way back to General Washington, President Trump is the first president to not be controlled by the donors. And what Trump did that upset the political establishment, the donor class the most, do you know what it was? There was one thing he did through his presidential authority that they really were, it just turned the world upside down for the donors and the politicians. Do you know what it is? What do you think? Just think about it. I'm not going to troll for calls on that. I don't like to troll for calls on a simple question. What President Trump did that turned the political establishment and the donors' world upside down more than anything else wasn't the Great Wall of Trump along the southern border. It wasn't ending the war against ISIS and defending ISIS and bringing our troops home. It was fixing the trade deals between the United States and these other countries. And he was very kind, too kind, to our past presidents and other leaders. He would talk about these out-of-whack import taxes. Like, we'll have like a 2% import tax, and they'll have like a 50%, some of these countries. And President Trump would talk about how stupid our past leaders were, our past presidents were, to make such out-of-balance trade deals. Well, they were not stupid, they're corrupt. The trade deals were out of balance by design. The trade deals were out of balance because our past presidents and those in the Senate that are involved, and others in the government that are involved in international negotiations and treaties, trade is a treaty, they can't sell out the other country, but they can sell our country out. So all of those crazy trade deals where we have no import tax and they have these huge import taxes on our goods into their countries, that was by design. And President Trump equaled those out worldwide. That's what turned them really against him, including China. China is a country whose entire economy revolves around these out-of-balance import-export taxes. The international conglomerates that do their manufacturing in China, their entire business model is based around these out of balance import-export taxes, the tariffs, the trade imbalance. Their whole business model is based on that being out of balance. It's all but by design. And Trump equaling that out is what caused everything. Many people believe that we were attacked because of that. And I believe President Trump believes that. I think he's laid low about it. He didn't get into it too much because he didn't want a war to break out, because a war would be... Look what happened in just Italy alone. Look at how many lost their lives in Italy from COVID. So President Trump downplayed this aspect of everything because he didn't want a world war to break out. But that's what's happened. That's what's happened, and that's bigger than Fauci. Yeah, those trade imbalances. There's other things he did that upset them beyond belief, right? Making these other countries paying in NATO, reducing, bringing our troops home from these wars. The donors and those, they don't like that either. That costs them money. All those things that he did upset them. But the trade imbalances, the import-export taxes, balancing those out, that was his biggest crime in their mind, because that's how they make their money. They're all corrupt. And Rand Paul and others are going to start to openly discuss this and ask this question. Did this leak out of the lab happen because of the tariffs? That's going to be the next phase of this. Maybe next week, it may be 6 months. But that's where this is eventually going to go. All right, let's take our break. Oh, man, it's 6:30 in the morning. It is Thursday. The phones are back working, people. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE1. Your calls are welcome on this topic and anything we brought up yesterday, since we were unable to communicate with you all yesterday. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We will be back right after this.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences, up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Sole Authority. With the Sole Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name brand shoes.
Welcome everyone who's new. If you're new, make sure you subscribe.
Stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Sole Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoleauthority.com. That's TheSole authority.com, Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
I checked the temperature this morning before I left. The high today is going to be almost 90 degrees here in South Florida. The hot weather, it's already here, and it's only going to get hotter. On the line from Cut My Kilowatts, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. He's going to tell you how he can save you big money on your electric bill.
We're facing the onslaught of summer here, and a lot of people are going to be noticing that, if they haven't noticed already, that their air conditioner is running non-stop, fighting to keep the house cool. A lot of times the air conditioner can't even keep up with the heat gain. You know, like you'll have the temperature set in your house at 74, and you'll look at the thermostat, it'll be at 76 or 77 or even 78.
Yeah.
Even as high as 80. So what we do is cutmykilowatts.com, and we've been doing radiant barrier in South Florida for 10 years. I mean, we did Steve Kane's house probably 10 years ago when I first started doing this in South Florida. Radiant barrier stops the heat gain in the house, lowers the temperature in the attic 30 to 40 degrees, literally cuts the AC runtime in half, and doesn't a lot of money.
Let's explain to people what radiant barrier is. We have known Scott from Cut My Kilowatts for well over a decade. He's with us every summer here on the Steve Kane Show. In the heat of the summer, the attic, how hot does an attic get during the summer, Scott?
It can get, depending on what kind of roof it has, with a shingle or tile, shingle being the hottest, 140, 150, you even see 160 degrees.
Yeah, and what that does is that 150, 160 degree heat in your attic makes your ceiling hot, and of course your air conditioning ducts are in your ceiling. It heats them up, and it makes your air conditioner work longer, harder, causing your electric bill going up, struggling to keep your house cool. So Scott has the radiant barrier. So tell people what radiant barrier is and how it works.
Radiant barrier is like a big aluminum foil tarp that goes on the underside of the roof deck below the trusses, so there's an air gap, so it doesn't damage the roof. And it basically just turns the heat wave that comes down off the roof around and pushes it back up out the roof. So it makes your roof function like a white shingle reflective roof. You know, you see those white roofs on people's houses. They put them on because it cuts their electric bill 25-30%. Same thing with radiant barrier. You put it in on the underside of your roof deck. You know, it's like $1 a square foot. And we've got a special, if you spend 2,000 square feet or more, you get an additional $500 off. So, I mean, it's very reasonable. It's very affordable. This time of year, you know, you're getting it for half price, plus you're getting additional money off. We also do traditional insulation, and we do ductwork. So we can do like the complete job in your attic, whatever you need up in your attic. Insulation, ductwork, you know, radiant barrier, we can do the whole package.
Now listen,
We do that for a lot.
it's getting hot today. It's going to be about 88, 89 degrees here in South Florida. We're not in the hottest heat of the summer yet. We will be soon. And because of that, Scott, he's offering a great discount before it gets super, super hot, because as it gets hotter and hotter, it's more difficult for his crew to work in the attic. Now, it's not quite as hot. They can get the work done faster, can spend more time in the attic. I'm going to give you Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. I'm going to give you his website and his number. If you miss this, it's listed at Steve Kane Show. Andrew, $5 super chat. Thank you, thank you. Everyone thank Andrew. Trump doesn't want war, but at some point, war is brought to us. Well, save you money on your electric bill this and every summer. All right, Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, have a great day. We will talk later in the week.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, 36 minutes after the hour. Now, we were talking about yesterday, Biden's, the most racist speech I've ever heard a president give. Said terrible things about black people, that it's just shocking, and no coverage of this, a total media blackout. Well, Judge Joe Brown gave an interview. I'm going to play 2 clips of it. One clip is about Kamala. One clip is about Fauci, about Biden, not Fauci. And what Judge Joe Brown said about Biden and Kamala should be top and bottom of the hour breaking news around the clock. But the Trump derangement syndrome sufferers in the mainstream media, well, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They just tune it out. Blah, 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 blah. Nothing to see here. Move along. Let's talk about UFO sightings, which are a bunch of nonsense. They're unidentified flying objects and that we don't know what it is. But you're telling me in 2021, the United States military doesn't have better cameras to pick up things at night? My goodness. I could take my iPhone 12 and with no light outside and get better photographs than they're getting. It's a distraction, people. Aliens are not visiting the Earth. Sorry. I used to believe in that when I was a child. But anyway, back to this. So Judge Joe Brown, who is a A-lister inside the black community, he's very famous, very well known, very credible, and goes back a long way with Joe Biden. I mean, a long way with Joe Biden. And he goes back so far with Joe Biden that he knew him when he had his wits about him. And he gave this interview, and he talked about, he was in Delaware at the state capitol listening to Joe Biden speak. Joe Biden spoke of black people in a way that no public official has spoken. Since the days of segregation, they were not this hardcore with Joe Biden. Now, Joe Biden's very lucky that we only have Judge Joe Brown's good word, all right, because there were no iPhones, no Twitter back in those days. But Judge Joe Brown is a voice of credibility. Listen to this. This is Judge Joe Brown on Biden.
Joe Biden, who got up there and when the speech he gave, I mean, I was really offended. I heard it right outside the state capitol building in Dover.
Jacqueline, $10 super sticker. Thank you. Everyone thank Jacqueline. Ari, $2. Thank everyone. Ari, thank Ari, everyone. Comments are being removed.
If they're allowed to integrate,
not by me.
They will infest them, and they will
That's probably the bot.
Joe Biden said that?
Yeah.
Oh, let me go back. Listen to this.
Speech he gave, I mean, I was really offended. I heard it right outside the state capitol building in Dover, which was a rundown, ramshackle old house, 250 years old. Mm-hmm. And he said, Negro children are like roaches.
Okay, now this is interesting. This is so long ago. Joe Biden's been around for a long time. He's referring to African Americans as Negroes and said Negroes are like cockroaches. This is Joe Brown talking.
Capitol building in Dover, which was a rundown, ramshackle old house, 250 years old. Mm-hmm. And he said, Negro children are like roaches. If they're allowed to integrate the schools, they will infest them and they will never be gotten out.
Okay, now there's more. I'll play the rest in a moment. I don't take any pleasure in playing this to you. This is awful. Joe Biden is the president of the United States right now. I don't like it, but he is. And listen to what Joe Brown said. He referred to black people as Negroes and cockroaches and was on a tear against not just busing, but against integration of the public schools. Once you get them in, you'll never get them out. I remember when President Trump was running for president, they were trying to claim that he was a racist because of something that they claim his dad did back in the 1920s. Remember that? Judge Joe Brown is a very, very important person in the black community. He's well respected and he's a voice of credibility, and I've always viewed him as a nonpartisan voice. If he has any partisanship, I would think leaning to the left. He should be a guest on every national news program telling this story, which should be very easy to verify the event and verify aspects of his story, but he's not done.
I heard it right outside the state capitol building in Dover, which was a rundown, ramshackle old house, 250 years old. Mm-hmm. And he said, Negro children are like roaches. If they're allowed to integrate the schools, they will infest them and they will never be gotten out.
Wow.
Who said that? Joe Biden said that?
Yeah, I heard it. Saw it. Said Negroes were animals. They turned the streets into jungle. he and Senator Eastland had a plan where they could put all of these Negro animals in zoos. Now, talk about the 94 crime bill, that was, 91 was bad.
91
was really bad. 81 was the one where one rock got you 5 years, which due to some other stuff Biden and Stennis and Eastland did, it wasn't 5 years with parole. They abolished federal parole. So you get 5 years, you get 60 months, and you get released with all good and honor time at 56 months from federal custody. And then that was the 81 when then there was the 79 and the 77. So let's give blame where blame is due. That bastard has been a racist dog, and he used to talk about he understood the Negro because he was raised in Delaware. And he said Delaware was a proud slave-owning state that basically copped out by not going with the South during the rebellion as it should have, because they were too close to D.C. to not be intimidated. So I listened to this racist dog. I kept up with him because I was practicing criminal law, and federal criminal trials became almost a lynch thing because of what is allowed.
Wow. I mean, that is, you put that story with Judge Joe Brown's real, and by the way, I think that could be very easily verified by the media going back and following Joe Biden. Go to Joe Brown, interview him, find out who else was there, what the event was, why it was happening. You could probably find some old newspaper archives. You'd have to actually not Google, because it's so long ago, go to some newspapers and search for them, and verify everything here. The American people need to know this. And by the way, I would share this no matter who it was. If Donald Trump had talked this way back then, I'd share it. But he never did, because he's not a racist. There's a couple reasons why Kamala Harris was picked to be VP. One, the Democrat Party is being run out of California. Chinese Communist Party has infiltrated the Democrats. We have Eric Swalwell sleeping with a Chinese spy. We have Dianne Feinstein, one of the senators from California, who had a spy working for her for over 20 years in her office as her driver. And Kamala's from there, so that's part of it. But the other reason is to shield Biden from being called a racist because he picked a black woman to be vice president of the United States. I mean, I don't take any play. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's cute. I think it's damn frightening to hear that the man who's the president of the United States was openly speaking this way. This wasn't even a private conversation. This was an official press event that Joe Brown was at with Joe Biden. 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is the number. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Not too bad. It's Tim from Moncton.
Well, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just calling to ask, is it possible that another country could indict Fauci?
No. But I'll tell you, no. We don't want other countries arresting American citizens. See, this is bigger than Fauci. Our whole,
Crime in other countries too?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, but there's a bigger crime than Fauci, because very powerful people inside this country with their Trump derangement syndrome were using Fauci's a useful idiot, if you know the meaning of that term out there. And the media and the Democrats and the never Trumpers used Fauci, and they used Fauci to bring down Trump. That was their whole and work. And the question is, it came out of this Wuhan lab. Was it an accident? Was it on purpose? And did the powers that be, these anti-Trump forces, did they know the answer to that question last year while it was going on? I mean, I'm looking at a picture beyond Fauci. Fauci's a dope. He'll eventually retire with his big fat pension and book deals and everything else. and be celebrated by Hollywood, but he'll go down in history as a clown. But there's a bigger picture here, because the Democrats are going to use public health to get their whole agenda through. Climate change, everything else. Because, if the seas are rising, that's the public health. And this has to be exposed so that we don't let some other corrupt, petty little bureaucrat who wants to have their 15 minutes of fame and power, like Fauci, control our society.
And who would have thought that first pitch that he threw over the baseball game would have been the exact example of how this thing would go?
Yeah. All right, appreciate the call. Let's take our last break of the first hour. I'm Brian. Obviously, our phone's working. When we get back, Judge Brown had some comments about Kamala Harris, which I'm going to share with you. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
Brian Craig here. When it comes to auto repair, you want a garage that you can trust. Someone that will only do work on your car when your car needs work. Introducing Champagne Automotive in Boca Raton, the latest sponsor of the Steve Kane Radio Show. Tom called in on the radio to tell us about his experience with Champagne Automotive.
Hi, this is Tom from Tamarack.
Hey, Tom from Tamarack, what's up?
I just want to tell you guys something. I spent the last 2 days trying to get brakes for my car. I was leaving the house yesterday to go try another place.
Tim, $5 super chat. Thank you. Everyone thank Tim. Good morning, Brian. YouTube will not allow me to send my question. Well, I don't know. It must be some doozy of a question.
Old school, these people are.
Old school, that's really the term that really describes it.
But let me tell you, the guy I had gone to previously won $800. He says, well, you need to change your power steering fluid. And Ed, the owner, put the car up on the lift, pulled the wheels, says, you don't need brakes. And I about fell over.
Wow, well, tell me the end of the story. You got me hooked.
So it wasn't that your vehicle was misdiagnosed at the other place. You were dealing with a crook.
Oh, absolutely. This guy wanted to sell me everything but a washing machine. I don't want that.
Now, this is our new sponsor. We have wanted for a long time to have an auto repair shop. When it comes to auto repair, that is the most difficult category for us to find as an advertiser, because most are like this guy you were dealing with the other day over in Tamarack. They're crooks. And we found Champagne Automotive. Ed, who's the owner, is a listener of the program. They come very, very highly recommended. So I appreciate you calling in and telling us the good story. Now, Champagne Automotive, they're in Boca off Spanish River Boulevard, immediately west of Dixie Highway. The number is 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All righty, welcome back, everyone. It is 10 before 7, and as I was talking earlier, if you're watching on YouTube, you may think I just rolled out of bed because I'm wearing a bathrobe. But no. I'm fully dressed, got my Trump shirt on, got jeans on, got my Vans on, but I'm wearing my MyPillow bathrobe today, and which you can get for 30% off at MyPillow.com with the promo code Kane and check out KANE. Great gift for Father's Day. And the reason I'm wearing my MyPillow bathrobe today is they've been out of stock for a while for both men and women, and they are in stock now, but they sell so fast, I imagine it will be for a limited time. So you want to go right now to MyPillow.com and order the MyPillow bathrobe for Dad for Father's Day, which is coming up. And for the ladies out there, we didn't have an opportunity to promote the MyPillow bathrobe for women during Mother's Day because they were out of stock. They are in stock now, but I'm telling you, it's going to be for a limited time. So go to MyPillow.com right now, order the bathrobe for Dad. This is a very comfortable bathrobe, very soft. I've washed this bathrobe so many times, and it still looks brand new like the day it arrived. That's right. And you women out there, my wife loves hers. Mine's gray. My wife's is white. And go right now. It's KANE is the promo code, 30% off. And if you order at MyPillow.com, you'll see a pop-up window to save another $10 off the 30% you save with the promo code Kane at checkout, KANE. That's at MyPillow.com. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, KANE. I'm telling you, these MyPillow bathrobes will be out of stock quick. They're in high demand, and I just found out last night they had them back in stock. Mike Lindell's office gave me a ring and told me. All right, back to the phones. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. You're on the radio. What's your name?
This is Jerry. You on there?
Yeah, Jerry. What's up?
Hey, this is Jerry over here in St. Pete. Hey, listen, you're talking about this Fauci and this disease coming across, or that epidemic coming across. Do you remember back when they were trying to impeach Trump, and Pelosi wanted to take a flight with all her people and run across the country, and Trump said, "No, you're not running off"? Do you remember that?
I don't quite remember that, but okay.
It's in there. You have to.
I believe you. I'll take your word for it. Nancy Pelosi loves to fly around on private government jets. She loves to do that. I believe it.
Well, yeah, they wanted to exit the country when this epidemic was coming through. But, and right afterwards, what they do, they all ran home and sat for 2 weeks. Did they not?
Well, most of the country did.
They ran off because Trump said, "No, you're not leaving the countryside."
Yeah.
In my heart, I believe they knew this epidemic was coming. In my heart.
Well, you say that, but if you look at the way, I know it's, I think your heart's, when you say they, you mean like Pelosi? Yeah. I'm going to say no to that, and I'll tell you why. Pelosi did two things that she would not have done if she knew. One, when she ripped up the State of the Union in a well-rehearsed thing, she was planning the whole event because she had done ripping of paper tests in the office, you could tell, and she knew how many papers she could rip and how many she couldn't. So if you watch her behind Trump during the State of the Union, she's making sure she has the papers to rip. He talked about travel restrictions from China because of COVID in that speech, and it wasn't a thing yet. So if she knew, she wouldn't have ripped up that speech and tossed it like a lunatic. Another thing she did that she would not have done if she knew, I'm not saying no one knew, I'm just saying Pelosi didn't, in my opinion. If Pelosi knew, she wouldn't have gone to Chinatown and started calling Trump a xenophobe for shutting down transportation from China. She wouldn't have done those two things that make her look like an idiot if she knew what was going on at the time. That doesn't mean no one knew, it just means she didn't know.
Well, yeah, but it just, the way it all came apart after, then Trump stopped them from flying off. They were going to take some kind of I guess it was a government plane.
I don't know, you're obsessed with the plane. I don't mean that there's so many bigger things to talk about. I mean, I don't understand the obsession with that.
It just seemed to me that they wanted to get out of town.
I don't know about leaving the country. I mean, people, but I don't know. I have no thoughts on that. I don't know. I don't know what the significance of it is.
You have the knowledge of researching that, and so does Steve.
Well, I can't spend my days researching the random thoughts of callers, or I wouldn't be able to get any work done. So when you have something on your mind, it's best you can research it and share it with me. But let's say that's true. What's the significance?
Well, I just think that they knew this pandemic was coming through.
Well, why would she make a fool out of herself on those two instances if she knew? Pelosi.
Well, she wanted a plane full of Democrats to take.
I've heard that like 4 times. And going to where? Going where? And for what purpose?
We're leaving the country.
All right, I know. All right, the caller there, he just can't take in new information and process it. He has to keep repeating the same thing he thought about before he called in. No matter what I ask him, he goes back to the exact same thing. Well, they were taking the plane out of the country. Yeah, okay. How's the weather today? Well, they were taking the plane. Oh my goodness. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE. Good guy. He's a nice guy. He's called before. He's a good guy. Not to give him a hard time, but just couldn't take in new information and process it. 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number, 888-465-2631. And as you can tell, our phones are back up and running today, which is a good thing. So then Judge Brown, I played the part he played. He talked about Biden making the most racist comments a man has ever made. Then he went on and started talking about Kamala Harris. And there's a bleep you'll hear in the beginning of this for language we're not allowed to use on the radio. It's a word that sounds like hum, but starts with the letter C that I bleeped out in the beginning. That's all I can tell you. But this is Judge Brown talking about Kamala Harris.
And then you got Queen Imhoff in there. You know who Imhoff is?
No.
Yes, you do.
Who?
Mrs. Imhoff, Vice President of the United States, who goes by her maiden name,
Miss Kamala?
Kamala Harris. She's a witch, and she is a corrupt witch. She's been corrupt her whole life, and she her way to the top.
Oh,
They used to detail this witch in the LA Times with her sexual escapade. Damn near everybody trying to be a frat when she was at Howard. And she ain't black. You know,
I ain't got nothing to do with this, Miss Harris.
I mean, well, don't, but she's
I'm just, I don't know, I'm just listening.
Well, here's the thing. I actually met her father in Jamaica. I was the guest, said it to Governor.
Okay, now a lot of information came out of that on Kamala Harris from Judge Joe Brown. And remember, Judge Joe Brown is very well connected inside the black community. The first thing he said about Biden, he was there. The rest are what people he knows that know her say about her. He's in that circle. And being a former TV judge, he's also in the black entertainment circle. This is all firsthand stuff that he's getting from people who are in the know about Kamala Harris. And there's two things about her that I think are interesting, that if we had real reporters, we would find everything out here. Starting from the end, he said that he met her father way back when he visited Jamaica. And I find that very interesting, that Kamala Harris is very well connected. She's not some girl that worked her way up, went to law school and made her way. She's from a very well connected family that is so connected. Her father was hanging out with the Prime Minister of Jamaica, meeting Judge Joe Brown, who's a big celebrity. It's pretty interesting. Huh? Very well connected, very well connected. Didn't come out of nowhere. And then the second thing, he said that the LA Times gossip columns, I guess, followed Kamala's sexcapades for years. Now, you're not going to find this stuff on a Google search. You'd have to actually physically, and you got to go quick because they may be rushing out there to take them. You need to send a reporter, Fox News, Newsmax, One American News. You need to send a reporter out to LA in person and go through the, they call it the morgue, is where the old newspapers are kept. You may be able to even find these at the LA Public Library for now, though I'm sure they'll try to remove them, and find these gossip columns. First you go to Judge Joe Brown, get some details so you know more specifically where to look, and find these gossip columns about the sexcapades of Kamala Harris. Sounds like great reporting to me. You'd have to do it in person. You can't do this online. Oh, man. But we don't have real reporters anymore. And the Trump derangement syndrome is still strong. And what the media are in the business of is not reporting news, but covering news up. And Judge Joe Brown dropped two major news bombshells, one on Biden, one on Kamala Harris yesterday. All right, it's 7:01, 1 hour down, 2 to go. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the air since 1977. My name is Brian Craig, broadcasting in my MyPillow bathrobe. 30% off with the promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at mypillow.com. And remember, these bathrobes for both men and women are in stock right now. They have been out of stock for a long time. They are back in. You better go and order now. Promo code Kane, Kane at mypillow.com. All right, let's take our break for the top of the hour. We'll come back with hour number 2 after this.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Welcome, everyone. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. And everybody in the chat room, there's over 1,000 people in there. Like the video. Liking the video helps a lot.
A lot more, too. Give Debbie and her team at I Will Advocates a call right now. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Online, IWillAdvocates.com. Never worry about your health care ever again. Let I Will Advocates handle everything for you. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
So you've been told you need a health test. What are you going to have to pay? Health tests can be very expensive. If you go to your doctor's office or one of the big labs, it can cost you hundreds of dollars. Sometimes I haven't had lab tests because of the cost. Then I discovered Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs' goal is to get you all the lab tests you need, save you money, and get you in and out in 15 minutes or less. At Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, you never need an appointment, no doctor's order.
Wesley, $5 super chat. Thank you, thank you. Everyone thank Wesley. Good morning, Brian. Trump should have fired Fauci and Birx a long time ago. Yeah. I was hoping he fired Fauci. But,
906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the
oh, I'm going to sneeze, guys.
University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square. Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Private and affordable lab testing. 954-906-5983.
The air conditioning just popped on over my head, made me sneeze.
I'm so happy to be able to now
Oh.
offer the latest and most comprehensive approach to health, wellness, and anti-aging at my new West Delray location. In addition to the hormone therapies you are accustomed to, we can now offer testing for all of your health concerns, including vitamin and nutrient levels, cardiac risk panels, immune system markers, and much, much more. We also
There's no buffering. I'm watching the feed. I just pulled it up. There's no buffering.
fillers, lasers, etc., as well as the latest state-of-the-art non-invasive treatments for erectile dysfunction, privatizing suites, personal patient advocates, and
No, they keep the air in here at about 65 degrees because of all the radio equipment. You know? That's what does it.
561-320-8893 to schedule your appointment today.
Days, turn your radio to Richard Pearl on Politics. Unfiltered, unapologetic, always controversial. Richard Pearl tells it like it is. No topic is off limits. This is talk radio like it should be. You've known him as a master of nutraceuticals. Now, listen to Richard Pearl as you've never heard him before. Richard Pearl on Politics. High noon weekdays on this radio station. Be there.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Veterans and spouses of veterans, you may be entitled to benefits that you are not aware of, including long-term care benefits. Call attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group and find out what benefits are available to you. With offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-STOKE-1.
No, there's no buffering, no audio feed. You may have to refresh your own feed.
Here's Steve Kane.
Alrighty, hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Welcome back. And, of course, the phones are working today. We've already been taking calls, which is pretty awesome. It's nice to be able to take the calls again. Steve will be joining us in progress in a little bit. In the first hour, we were talking about the Fauci emails, what's really in play here, what's going on. And then, of course, these huge drops from Judge Joe Brown. One about Joe Biden, the other about Kamala. And the one on Joe Biden, with it, if any other politician, certainly a Republican, it would be a career ender. But with Joe Biden, total media blackout. And I'll recap some of those clips later as the show goes on. But AOC is out there, and she's got the Trump derangement syndrome too. Have you ever wondered what AOC is like in person? I know exactly what she's like. I've never even met her. She's the kind of person that if you were at a party or out to dinner with friends and she was there, she doesn't stop talking, and everybody just sits and listens to her the whole night. No one gets a word in edgewise because she's the oracle of all knowledge, and her Trump derangement syndrome is getting the best of her. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, was slammed on Twitter Wednesday for not helping her grandmother and instead posting images of her grandmother's dilapidated home in Puerto Rico and blaming Trump for not sending out hurricane relief after Hurricane Maria. And she's showing her grandmother's living room, which is a dump. The ceiling is rotted out. Pieces of it are falling. There's 3, 4, 5, 6. I see 6 buckets in an empty room with just a chair in this living room that are collecting water coming through the roof. And she's attacking Trump for not sending aid after Hurricane Maria to Puerto Rico. Well, let me tell you this. We were in Puerto Rico not long after the hurricane. In fact, one of our listener cruises, one of our Steve Kane listener cruises, we stopped in Puerto Rico right after the hurricane. And you know what we saw so far as hurricane damage? 0 bits of hurricane damage. I didn't see any. People have been living in Puerto Rico for hundreds of years. It's in the Caribbean. They may not get hurricanes regularly, but they've had them over the years. Puerto Rico's fine. And remember after Hurricane Maria, they said there were over 30,000 dead in Puerto Rico. Remember that? Total nonsense. Weren't that many dead. Maybe some did die. I don't know. But certainly not that many. And where are the graves? If you had 3,000 dead, the average Puerto Rican family is how big? In Puerto Rico. They're Catholic, there's no birth control, large families. The average Puerto Rican family is about 10 people, if you include grandparents and extended family, and some of them are bigger. So if you had 3,000 dead, and you had funerals for 3,000 dead, you would have 30,000 minimum people at funerals. And I remember after 9/11, we had over 3,000 dead. There was a grave shortage in New York. People were donating their plots. I remember some nuns were donating their plots. There weren't enough funeral plots to go around. It's terrible, isn't it? Cemetery plots. Puerto Rico's a small island. If they had 3,000 dead, 4,000 dead, 5,000 dead, why was there not a grave shortage? It was a lie. And where are the 35,000 mourners at the funerals? That would be going on for weeks. But anyway, AOC, the conditions that her grandmother are living in, she's living in a condemned house in Puerto Rico. A room with 1 chair, 6, 8 buckets, the ceiling's falling down. It's almost as bad as Steve's house that's getting fixed by LaPorta Contracting right now. Here you have AOC, who's an international celebrity. She very well may be the most famous woman in America. She's known by just AOC. Everybody knows who she is. And she's well-to-do. She drives a $70,000 car. How much does your car cost? So someone who, and she's single. You got a single girl who earns a 6-figure salary, drives a $70,000 Tesla, and she's sitting around complaining that after, how long ago was that hurricane? How many years ago was Hurricane Maria? That years later her grandmother is living in a condemned house with the roof and ceiling caving in, with water and no furniture and nothing else? She should be ashamed of herself to allow her grandmother to live in such disgusting, unsafe conditions. AOC. But see, in AOC's world, it's not about family, it's about the government coming in. The government's got to fix your roof. We have hurricanes in Florida. We've been through a lot of them. I've never had the government come and help me. I had some bad hurricane damage last time. we had a bad hurricane. Remember I talked about the 50-foot trees that got knocked down? I had hurricane damage. I had to hire a guy to come and cut down the trees. They were too big for me to take care of myself. Hurricane before that, my dad came over. We cleaned up everything. I had a flood in my bedroom. I called the insurance company. They came out, called somebody. They came and fixed it. You know, I didn't have the government come over. Before the hurricane, I filled up my cars with gas. I have a generator. I filled up my generator and tested it, filled up my extra gas containers, loaded my house up with food and other supplies, including batteries for the radio and everything else. Went out, got some extra extension cords, stocked up on cat food and dog, everything for the hurricane. I wasn't waiting for the government. Here you got AOC, who is rich. She's got a lot of extra cash because she's single. Only person she has to support is her boyfriend, that white guy she dates. That's right. No kids, drives a $70,000 car, and she puts photos on social media of a condemned house that her grandmother has been living in for years, and she thinks that we're supposed to be sympathetic to AOC's plight. And it's Donald Trump. It's your fault that your grandmother's living in such conditions. Let her come stay with you at your fancy apartment in D.C. while you get her house fixed. AOC could probably get a deal, too. She could probably make a call in Puerto Rico, get some guys over there and get the house fixed yesterday at a very low price in Puerto Rico because she's so famous. But she's waiting for Donald Trump to come fix her grandmother's house. Oh, my goodness. You should be ashamed of yourself, AOC. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
All right, Richie.
All right, listen, before Fauci, I heard last night, I don't want to research the tape. I think it was Rand Paul or one of them said that for 3 years they went and they investigated SARS and the United States government cut off the funding for these experiments. A month before Trump went in, somehow they lifted the ban.
Yeah.
Before Trump was sworn in. So it all adds up to me that this was any way to get rid of Trump. And this is part of the deal. I don't think they thought so many people would die.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the other thing is Ocasio-Cortez. I was born and raised in the Bronx, where she represents the average salary of a person in the Bronx, a family, is $26,000 a year.
Today? Even still today?
Yes.
Wow.
And they live in rat-infested apartment houses. They live in city-run projects where people have to go to work with bulletproof vests. You can go to YouTube and find this out. And she is a piece of garbage. Let alone her grandmother. She cost all those jobs with Amazon.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, she cost 50,000 jobs, many of them six-figure a year jobs with the Amazon thing. You know, if all my grandmothers are dead, but if I had a grandmother alive, living alone, in a condemned house looking like that, and I was wealthy, like her, and famous, and had a $70,000 car, I would get it fixed. She's too stupid to be embarrassed.
Yeah, she is. And then you also have another one that's too stupid to be embarrassed. That was Obama with his brother living in a tent.
On $12 a month.
A hut. So
Yeah.
the bottom line is, the Bronx is shot.
And not only that, Obama's grandmother in Kenya, while he was president, was living in a shack without running water. And Obama's grandmother in Africa was living in a place without running water, no toilet, and she was surviving by becoming a tourist stop. Tourists would come by to see the grandmother of the President of the United States, and she'd sell them some beaded bracelet she made for a couple of pennies while he was living in the White House.
Yeah, I called you 2 days ago to talk about that Obama was the racist president, and now look what happens. I'm not in shock. I figure that the African American population have been manipulated, like Wheezy and other people, like that guy Wayne calling up saying the Republicans were the Democrats. I mean, they were living in la-la land.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't been helped. There's a guy with this Black Lives Matter in Minnesota. He's been on TV that actually walked away.
Yeah, I saw that guy. Yeah.
He realizes that these people, listen, you want to help the African American community, you let them go to the schools of their choice. You don't restrict them to ghetto schools. And the teacher unions run the whole place. And the Republicans are right with them, the Democrats rather. So the bottom line is, and the press is going to carry their water.
Well, you know, there have been two huge racist revelations with Biden this week. Yesterday with Judge Joe Brown's comments, and then the day before in his Tulsa speech when he said terrible that black people can't hire, they don't have attorneys and accountants, so they can't make it. He's unaware that black people are actually attorneys and accountants today. I mean, he
also waged war on anyone with white skin. Anyone that voted for Trump is a white supremacist.
That's correct.
Everybody.
That's correct.
I've never seen a president do this, and he's getting away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's all just good old Joe.
That's just how Joe is. Come on, man. All right. Thanks for the call, Richie. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Hey, it's Mike Buckham.
Hey, Mike.
Joe Biden is still mentally stuck in 1973.
Yeah.
It's just going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. We got another three years of this crap. And I want to this story. This Dr. Fauci. So, BuzzFeed and the Washington Post. When did they ask for the Freedom of Information Act? When did they ask for the information?
When did they? I don't know. Things have to. It takes a while. That's why the dump stops in April. But But it's out there now.
Because I know for years on Hannity, Tom Fitton was trying to do this Freedom of Information Act for other issues, and he got nowhere. He never got anything. He still hasn't gotten anything.
Yeah.
I believe that they did not want to find this. They wanted to find some kind of tie-in about Trump forcing Fauci to do what he does or being in cahoots with the Chinese. And when they found that all this information, this is not what they wanted to find.
Yeah.
With that article that they put out, trying to make him look good, but the last 2 days, Washington Post has them basically nailing Fauci to the cross.
The reason it's happening, because I've been wondering the last couple of weeks, why is this stuff coming out about the lab? And now we know, because this Freedom of Information Act email dump was coming, and they were trying to get ahead of it. That's why they knew. And more will be coming as we get further out. More things will be available for release, and we're going to get This is just the beginning, but I think we got to be careful not to blame everything on Fauci. I think that's what the media and the Democrats would like. See, the Democrats used Fauci to bring down Trump, and the question is, to me, did this leak from the lab by accident or on purpose? And did the Democrats know the answer to that question in the media?
Well, I don't. They're going to spin this to make make Biden look good some way somehow. And as far as his racist comment, they're going to look the other way because, like I said, he's still stuck in 1973. The things he said are so dated. Like.
Well, this is the cognitive decline. The cognitive decline of Biden is people that are suffering from Alzheimer's and other issues like this. They revert back to an earlier time in their life, and he's back in the 60s and early 70s. And it really goes to, it's not just that he's racist, it goes to how, that's true, but it goes to his mental fitness to hold the office.
It does, because I know someone personally who's going through the same thing, and it's heartbreaking to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I've seen it happen too to people. It's terrible. Seinfeld, he was, before he was famous, he was on Merv Griffin. And it was back when Ronald Reagan was president. He was doing his stand-up routine on Merv Griffin. I didn't know who he was. I thought he was funny. And, he said, President Reagan is 73 years old, and he has his finger on the button. My grandfather's 73 years old, and we don't let him have his finger on the button of the television remote control. And everybody laughed, ha, ha, ha. And Ronald Reagan was mentally fit. He had no problems. But look at what we got going on here. We've got a man who is not mentally fit. He's regressed through his cognitive decline back to an earlier point in his life. And on top of that, he's saying terribly racist things every time he speaks. And after he had that incident with the little girl on Friday, he was speaking, when he was speaking in Tulsa, he approached some other young children. Left the stage to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
he's out of control.
Maybe that's why Obama came out 2 days ago and said, yeah, most of my staff is running the show.
Maybe.
People feel good. They voted for this.
Oh, well, I feel much better that Obama's running things illegally behind the scenes. That makes me feel much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, it's scary times, Mike. All right, Mike, take care. Thanks for the call. It's 23 minutes after the hour. We'll take our break and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
I checked the temperature this morning before I left. The high today is going to be almost 90 degrees here in South Florida. The hot weather, it's already here, and it's only going to get hotter. On the line from Cut My Kilowatts, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. He's going to tell you how he can save you big money on your electric bill.
We're facing the onslaught of summer here, and a lot of people are going to be noticing that, if they haven't noticed already, that their air conditioner is running non-stop, fighting to keep the house cool. A lot of
Steve Kane Show.
Air conditioner can't even keep up with the...
Hold on.
You'll have the temperature set in your house at 74, and you'll look at the thermostat, it'll be at 76 or 77 or even 78.
Yeah.
Even as high as 80. So what we do is cutmykilowatts.com, and we've been doing radiant barrier in South Florida for 10 years. I mean, we did Steve Kane's house probably 10 years ago when I first started doing this in South Florida. Radiant barrier stops the heat gain in the house, lowers the temperature in the attic 30 to 40 degrees, literally cuts the AC runtime in half, and a lot of money.
Let's explain to people what radiant barrier is. We have known Scott from Cut My Kilowatts for well over a decade. He's with us every summer here on the Steve Kane Show. In the heat of the summer, the attic, how hot does an attic get during the summer, Scott?
It can get, depending on what kind of roof it has, with a shingle or tile, shingle being the hottest, 140, 150, even 160 degrees.
Oh. Yeah, and what that does is that 150, 160 degree heat in your attic makes your ceiling hot, and of course your air conditioning ducts are in your ceiling. It heats them
Just
up.
reading this article about the Obamas. Beltway Rebel, $10 super chat. Everyone thank Beltway Rebel. Greetings from Babylon, Sodom, and Gomorrah. That's true.
Tell people what radiant barrier is and how it works.
National Escalator Day. Oh, I like that. Maga began with, yeah, it did begin with a escalator ride. That's a good point, Beltway Rebel. Everyone thank Beltway Rebel for that super chat.
So it makes your roof function like a white shingle reflective roof. You know, you see those white roofs.
I'm reading this article about the Obamas. Disgusting.
Same thing with radiant barrier. You put it
I'll get into it after I take another call or two.
$1 a square foot, and we've even got a special. If you spend 2,000 square feet or more, you get an additional $500 off. So I mean, it's very reasonable, very affordable. This time of year, you know, you're getting it for half price, plus you're getting additional money off. We also do traditional insulation, and we do ductwork. So we can do like the complete job in your attic, whatever you need up in your attic. Insulation, ductwork, radiant barrier. We can do the whole package.
Now listen,
we do that for a lot of people.
It's getting hot today. It's going to be about 88, 89 degrees here in South
Yep,
Florida.
very hot.
We're not in the hottest heat of the summer yet. We will be soon. And because of that, Scott, he's offering a great discount before it gets super, super hot, because as it gets hotter and hotter, it's more difficult for his crew to work in the attic. Now it's not quite as hot. They can get the work done faster, can spend more time in the attic. I'm going to give you Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. I'm going to give you his website and his number. If you miss this, it's listed at SteveKaneShow.com. First, you can give Scott a call at 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. Online, cutmykilowatts.com. And again, listed at SteveKaneShow.com. Scott will save you money on your electric bill this and every summer. All right, Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, have a great day. We will talk later in the week.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All right, you're on the radio. Good morning. What's your name?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Okay, yesterday I couldn't get on, but everybody seems to forget that Biden was good friends with Senator Byrd, who was part of the Ku Klux Klan. So, the guy's a race.
Well, not only was he friends with Byrd, so was Bill Clinton friends with Byrd, so was Obama, and Robert Byrd, who was a leader with the Ku Klux Klan. I've heard that they actually buried Byrd in his Klansman outfit, his robe.
Oh, geez, I didn't know that. My God. I mean, they say he converted, but I guess maybe he did. Anyway, I talked to an Israeli, but he's a liberal. These liberals, I think, are a cult. They're not normal. Because I said to this Israeli, I said, oh, now that you know that Biden gave $500 million to Hamas for the missile, does that turn you off? Oh, no. Oh, no, he didn't do that. I said, yes, that's what he did. He stopped the war in 8 days. So they just won't refuse to condemn any Democrat. This is how they are. These liberals are sick.
Do you mean an actual Israeli or a Jew in America? What is it?
He was born in Israel. He's an Israeli Jew, American now, but...
He's been polluted by America, because most Israelis I mean like real Israelis are conservative. I don't meet too many Israelis that are liberal when it comes to the defense of Israel. But it happens. It happens.
So this one certainly is, and he just refuses to be anything negative about. He loves Biden. He loves Biden. Oh, he's a great president. And
did you ask him what he loves about Biden?
He's changed. What he loves? He's changing everything that Trump did. I said, and now look at what he just did.
Yeah, I know. Like we had a cyber attack on our gas supply. Now meat is in short supply. Cyber attack on meat. He's doing a great job. Yeah, he's doing great. All right, Doug, take care. Thanks for the call. I want to apologize to the audience because I took that last break very late. I'm gonna have to. This is gonna be a short segment with a break, and I apologize for that. That's my fault. But I'm going to take this break so we'll be on time for the rest of the show, all right? We'll be right back after this.
This is Lori Kane, and I'm going to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities, I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
Attention seniors, Debbie from I Will Advisors has launched I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will make all of your doctor's appointments for you, handle your pharmacy issues, including refills, billing problems. They'll even make sure your prescriptions are filled. They'll review your doctor's bills to make sure they are correct. If you're in the hospital and you need an advocate to get the care you need, I Will Advocates, they'll do that too. They'll handle your Medicare and Medicaid applications, and that's just the beginning. They do a lot more too. Give Debbie and her team at I Will Advocates a call right now, 954 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Online, iwilladvocates.com. Never worry about your health care ever again. Let I Will Advocates handle everything for you. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right. Welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane will be joining us after our next break. And we'll go back to your calls in just a few moments at 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. I was just reading an article about Barack and Michelle Obama. It's really frightening. Those of you that have Netflix in your home and have children need to listen to this because you need to keep your children away from Netflix. You know, Barack and Michelle have a deal with Netflix. They're developing programming, and they have a new show coming for children that is called, what is it called? They got the name here, Higher Ground, We the People. This is in Breitbart. Barack and Michelle Obama are creating a Netflix animated series designed to reframe how children think about government and civic engagement, with musical performances by Adam Lambert, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Adam Lambert's from American Idol, and he's the lead singer for Queen these days. Lin-Manuel Miranda, who's the Hamilton overrated guy, and I don't know who this last person is, Janelle Monáe. I don't even know who that is, but anyway, Netflix announced the 10-episode We the People is set to debut July 4th. Oh, what a perfect way to celebrate Independence Day, right? The Obamas, who have an ongoing production deal with Netflix, are serving as executive producers on the series, along with Doc McStuffins creator Chris Nee and ABC's Blackish creator Kenya Barris. In a press release sent to multiple news outlets, Netflix called the Obama show a call to action for everyone to rethink civics as a living, breathing thing and to reframe their understanding of what government and citizenship mean in a modern world. The episodes focus on subjects including citizenship, voting, taxes, and activism. The trailer features scenes of young people protesting in the streets and concludes with an image of a raised fist. Barack Obama also promoted the new show on Twitter, writing, "Some of our favorite artists got together with amazing animators to remix civics, and the result is a lot better than what we had in school." Really? It's now, you know, Barack Obama is about my age. He's a little older than me. But my generation, we grew up with Schoolhouse Rock. And there is nothing out there better than Schoolhouse Rock. Those of you that are my age, you guys remember Schoolhouse Rock? I still watch Schoolhouse Rock sometimes. But this thing right here, okay, they're saying this is a call to action to rethink civics as a living, breathing thing. This is a scary thing. And they put it in a cartoon, the Obamas, to brainwash your children. And this is something liberals have said for a lot of times about the Constitution, but now they're saying it about everything, that it's a living, breathing thing. And the reason they say that is because a living, breathing thing grows and changes. And they even tell you it's a living, breathing thing that grows and changes with time. The Constitution is not a living, breathing thing. It is, boom, it is right there. It is in black and white or brown and white on that old paper, whatever color it is. And the reason they say it's a living, breathing thing is so that they can change it based on their activism. And Obama gave an interview once when he was a state senator, and he said that the Constitution is flawed and that it doesn't tell you what the government should do for you. It only tells you what the government can't do to you. And he said the Constitution is a list of negative liberties because the true liberties are the ones where the government can do things for you. Well, that's just not what it's all about. And if you have children, unsubscribe to Netflix immediately. Unsubscribe to Netflix. I would not normally talk about anything involving boycotts, but is there really anything worth watching on Netflix anyway? Longmire went off years ago, so I really haven't watched Netflix since Longmire had its last. Any of you guys watch Longmire? Oh my goodness, that was a great show. But I'm not the only one that watched Longmire. But keep your kids away from the Obamas. You do not want the Obamas telling your kids how government and American civics operate, because I promise you it will not be with the values that you share. Unless you're, Antifa or a Black Lives Matter American hater. Maybe then you might find some things that you would find that agreeable. All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE1. Lincoln Kane, everyone think Lincoln Kane, $100 super chat. Trump 2024 or bust is what we need. Now, there was some misreporting. Two things were misreported about President Trump yesterday that I want to correct the record on. One, it was briefly reported that Trump had been reinstated to Facebook and Instagram. That wasn't true, and you may have heard that. But there was another story that was being reported, and I thought it was true and found out that it is not true and it's not being reported. But I am going to share it with you. There was a report yesterday that President Trump's, from the desk of Donald Trump, had been shut down and he no longer has his online platform. That is not true, and don't let anyone believe you that it is. And the reports were that he shut down his platform, and he shut it down because it wasn't getting the action he wanted it to get. That is not true. He did not shut it down. He just updated the format. Okay? Don't believe it. Fake news. He did not. So what Donald Trump had set up was from the desk of Donald Trump. And when you to get to the desk of Donald Trump, the URL was donaldjtrump.com/desk. And it was a bit awkward to get to. I even had trouble getting it to it because it was such a strange address, donaldjtrump.com/desk. And what Donald Trump has there, or I call them tweets, but they're not tweets, and that they're not on Twitter, but they're like tweets. And he would comment like he would in a tweet on whatever was going on. And the last comment he made there was about the boat parade I went to in Jupiter, Florida here on Memorial Day. And what he did is he updated his website. Okay? He did not take it down. They're saying that he took it down. He did not take it down. If you go to donaldjtrump.com, click on news. You go there right now and do it. Click on news and they're right there. He just changed the format of it. Okay? Just change the format of it. That's all. Don't believe any of this garbage that they put out there. I'm there right now. The last one is still on the boat parade. He says, "Wow, I hear they have thousands and thousands of boats parading in Jupiter, despite the fact that they tried to cancel us. Everyone is having an incredible time." That's right. On this day, we especially appreciate everyone who served and fought for our great country. I love you all. They're all still there, so don't believe any of it. He did not shut his website down. It is still there. He is still commenting, and it's there. In the media, their Trump derangement syndrome is so severe. He retooled the website. Right? They didn't immediately see it in the format it was in. They didn't bother to go through the website. They went to press, went to air, went on television that he shut his site down because it wasn't getting enough activity. No, that is not true. It is a lie, and it is fake news, people. It is completely fake news. They can't get beyond Trump. And I understand. I watch Biden speak in Tulsa. And I don't really listen to Biden speak. I'll catch a soundbite here and there, and I'll play it for you guys on the show. But I don't sit around watching Biden speeches. And I watched him speak in Tulsa. He is terminally boring, isn't he? Even when he's saying outrageous racist things, he's like, he's asleep. You know, and the news, they have a hard time with that. Who wants to sit around and watch that? Very difficult to watch. You know, so they're always trying to get a Trump story because the Trump story gets people glued to the TV. If they have a story on Trump, you're there. If you see it online, you click it, right? Now, big announcement from MyPillow today. I am wearing my MyPillow bathrobe. I wore it to work today. The MyPillow bathrobes have been out of stock. They've been out of stock for both men and women. They are both back in stock for men and women. And we didn't promote the MyPillow bathrobes during Mother's Day because they were out of the ladies' bathrobes. And we haven't been promoting the bathrobes for the dads for Father's Day the last week because they've been out of the bathrobes for men. They are back in stock for both men and women in all sizes, and they have multiple colors too. So it's a great gift for Father's Day. Go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and save 30% off the MyPillow bathrobe. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see me in mine. I'm wearing the gray one. My wife's is in white. She has one in white. And the one I'm wearing is a medium. Just if you want to gauge the size. I'm 5'7", and I'm wearing a medium. If you're wondering how they fit, you know, and it fits perfectly. The sleeve length is perfect for me and everything. It's pretty awesome, very soft, very comfortable. And I actually ordered yesterday 2 of these robes as gifts for 2 different people because they're going to go out of stock quickly. These are a very popular item at MyPillow, the MyPillow bathrobes. It is the softest, most comfortable robe you will ever wear, and I promise you they will run out. So go there right now, order yours for the dad on Father's Day, and you ladies out there, get yours too. 30% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone, 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. All right, let's take our break. We'll be back. Steve will be joining us as well. Do not go anywhere.
Covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
So you've been told you need a health test. What are you going to have to pay?
Sophie G, $50 super chat. Thank you. Everyone thanks Sophie G for a $50 super chat. Lincoln, a $100 super chat. Thank Lincoln and Sophie G. And Wookiees and a $5 super chat. Thank Wookiees. Thank you so much, guys.
Save you money and get you in and out in 15 minutes or less. At any lab test now of Coral Springs, you never need an appointment, no doctor's order, or prescription.
5-7, yes.
Right in and have any of their thousands of lab tests done for just a fraction of the price the big labs or your doctor's office charge. Give them a call, 954-9.
Sorry I missed some of those. My charge is low on my iPad, so I haven't been keeping everything open all the time because I don't have enough battery power to get me through the show.
Coral Square Mall. Any lab test now of Coral Springs. Private and affordable lab testing. 954-906-5983.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you...
Hey, Sophie, you're back. Okay, Sophie, thank you for that $50 super chat. If you didn't hear me, thank you.
Diabetes can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul Authority. At the Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to 1 pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width.
Nothing happened at Starbucks.
Stock diabetic foot.
I had something happen on the road yesterday morning on the way to the radio station.
Amputation due to diabetes is preventable.
I just didn't get into it on the air.
Measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority.
I'm going to replay the Joe Brown stuff for Steve.
597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's TheSole authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All right, we are back 46 minutes after the hour. Steve joining us. You with us, Steve? Well, I just got a text that you were ready to go, and he's not there. Okay. Nope, I don't hear him. Okay, so I'll send a text back. Hold on. It would be nice if he was there when they told me he'd be there, so I don't sound like a fool introducing him and then having dead air, especially after yesterday's disaster. The phones are working, by the way, in case you're wondering. All right, welcome back. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. Yeah, you know, this new Netflix series, it's kind of like an Obama re-education camp. You know, there was a story that came out the other... I'm going to replay the Judge Joe Brown comments, by the way, for those that are wondering when Steve joins us. Okay, let's try again. Are you with us, Steve? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. That's on your end. That's got to be on Steve's end. Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm going to... Steve's thing is not working. I don't know if it's on his end or our end, so I will call... We'll probably have Steve on the phone today. Oh, man. Oh, man. This is wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff, people. Let me just do it live. Let me take a quick break and get Steve on the phone, all right? We'll be right back, guys. I promise. Don't go anywhere.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone.
I don't know if it's him or them working on the board. Yeah, we're going to have to do it on the phone because I can't hear you. So we're going to have you on the phone today. On the phone. You got to do it on the phone. Yes, but you got to do it on the phone. Your computer's not connecting for some reason. I'm not sure why. You ready? Hold on. I don't know if it's him or if it's them working on the board. You know, but I mean, we're looking like chumps. Oh, okay. Okay, are you there? Steve, try it now. Try your computer now. Just try the computer now. Steve. Are you there? We got to work it out. I mean, we sound like idiots. I'm not hearing him on the computer. He's going to have to do it on the phone for now. We can't mess around with it anymore. You there? Yeah, just give him the phone. I'll go to him on the telephone. But see if he can figure it out, but I'll go to him on the telephone. All right? All right. Tell him I'll be right to him. What? Huh? Steve, I got to get back on the air. We sound like assholes here. All right? Jeez. All right. All right. We're going to have Steve on the phone today. Are you with us, Steve? Okay. We're going to have to do it over the phone until we get the other thing working. Okay? Jeez. Oh, my gosh. Who's on first? What's on say? I don't know what's going on here. All right. Let's try to regain our credibility as professionals. Well, welcome to the program. We are back. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631 is our number. We'll have Steve on the phone while we're working out these other problems. Did you get your electricity back on in your house yesterday, Steve?
No.
Oh, my goodness. That may be part of the problem. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Steve's living in a house with half electricity right now. Now, living in the dark ages like I don't know, like you're living like the Amish.
Okay, are we ready?
Are you going to have to do it over the phone, Steve? The Okay, all right. Well, we're on now. Oh, my gosh. We're on now. So what's going on? What do you see in the news today, Steve?
What you just brought up sounded good. What was Joe Brown?
Oh, yeah, Joe Brown. This is...
I was watching it on television.
Oh, Joe Brown. Oh yeah. Well, let's start with the Biden stuff, okay? And then we'll do the Kamala stuff second. But Joe Brown told a story of something he is an eyewitness to. Back in the 70s, he was at an event at the Delaware State House with Joe Biden, and it's damning, and there's pretty much a media blackout on it because they don't want people to know what Joe Biden's all about. But Judge Joe Brown, for those that don't know, he's a very big A-list celebrity inside the black community. He was a TV judge for many, many years, and he's very well connected, and he also has been up until now a nonpartisan type figure. And this is him. He's relaying a story about Joe Biden. He was there. He witnessed this firsthand and heard everything himself. This is Judge Joe Brown.
Joe Biden, who got up there, and when the speech he gave, I mean, I was really offended. I heard it right outside the state capitol building in Dover, which was a rundown, ransackled old house, 250 years old. And he said, Negro children are like roaches.
Okay, now that's Joe Biden. This is so long ago, he was referring to African Americans as Negroes and said that they're like cockroaches. Listen.
Right outside the state capitol building in Dover, which was a rundown, ransackled old house, 250 years old. And he said, Negro children are like roaches. If they're allowed to integrate schools, they will infest them and they will never be gotten out.
Okay, so Joe Brown witnessed Joe Biden, calling black people cockroaches, calling them Negroes, and giving a very impassioned plea to stop the integration of the public schools, that you'll never get the Negroes out once they get in. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I told him, did you see this on TV at all?
No.
Of course not. No. I know. Isn't that scary? That's scary.
Here's the thing, my reaction was unbelievable. The more I think about it, it's really not unbelievable at all, given some of a lot of the things that Joe Biden is credited with having been said over the course of the campaign.
Yeah.
Right in with I mean, he's been a bigot from the beginning.
Steve, no. Everything. No. We have a witness that heard Joe Biden make racist comments that even Democrats during segregation that were elected officials didn't publicly make. They may have said segregation now, segregation forever, but have you ever heard a Democrat refer to a black person as a cockroach that's an elected official? I've never heard that. That's pretty hardcore stuff. And
heard tape. I've never heard it on tape.
Yeah. And there's more, so I'll play the rest of it. But Joe Brown here, this was a media event. It was on the steps of the State House of Delaware. So if the media were interested enough, they would go to Joe Brown and find out who else was there to verify what it is that he's saying, that the event actually happened. They don't want to do that. So let me go back. I'll rewind it a little bit. We'll play the whole thing.
Who got up there, and when the speech he gave, I mean, I was really offended. I heard it right outside the state capitol building in Dover, which was a rundown, ransackled old house, 250 years old. And he said, Negro children are like roaches. If they're allowed to integrate the schools, will infest them and they will never be gotten out. Negro.
Who said that? Joe Biden said that?
Yeah.
Okay, now where's Wheezy and Wayne and all these people? They should be very upset that their president is calling them cockroaches.
I heard it. Saw it. Said Negroes were animals. They turned the streets into jungle.
Wow.
And Senator Eastland had a plan where they could put all of these Negro animals in zoos. Now, we talk about the 94 crime bill. That was, 91 was bad.
91
was really bad. 81 was the one where one rock got you 5 years, which due to some other stuff Biden and Stennis and Eastland did, it wasn't 5 years with parole. They abolished federal parole. So you get 5 years, you get 60 months, and you get released with all good and honor time at 56 months from federal custody. And then that was the 81 one, then there was the 79 and the 77. So let's give blame where blame is due. That bastard has been a racist dog, and he used to talk about he understood the Negro because he was raised in Delaware. And he said Delaware was a proud slave-owning state that basically copped out by not going with the South during the rebellion as it should have, because they were too close to D.C. to not be intimidated.
Okay, so there you have Joe Brown relaying a story that he heard and witnessed himself. Joe Biden calling black people Negroes and cockroaches. We just have Joe Brown's eyewitness account. This was like 50 years ago. He's
Where did we get the soundbite from?
This is an interview Joe Brown did earlier this week with a black host somewhere online. Yeah, this is just this week. This just dropped. So he witnessed and heard with his own ears Joe Biden referring to black people as Negroes, calling them cockroaches, arguing against the desegregation of the schools, which means he's arguing for segregation. He called Delaware a proud slave-owning state, and was very sorry that Delaware didn't join the South during the Civil War. That's the President of the United States he's talking about.
Has anybody else commented on?
Well, it's all over the internet. It's blowing up on Twitter, but I haven't seen it on television yet. But on YouTube, on Twitter, it is exploding. Millions of people saw this yesterday. Millions. But the television, they're not putting it on TV yet.
I didn't see it. I didn't read my post very carefully.
I didn't see it in the New York Post yet. I've not seen it in the New York Post. Not that it hasn't been in there, but I didn't see it. I read the Post this morning. I've not seen it on television.
I'd like to take some calls. Can we take some calls?
We can after the break. I think that's one of the few things we can still do around here. But our number, 1-888-GO-CANE-1.
From anybody out there who's heard this independent source, I'm not comfortable with just one.
Well, he's the witness, Steve. It's not one source. He's the guy that witnessed it. He was there when it happened.
But somebody out there in the audience heard it also, right?
Do you think I just made this up? That's the guy. Joe Brown witnessed it, and he's.
To answer your question, it is kind of unbelievable.
I know, but it happened. Well, listen, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. We'll come back with your calls. And Judge Joe Brown wasn't finished. He started with Biden. The next clip, he was talking about Kamala Harris, which we'll play for you. Yeah, I know, it's pretty bad. So let me put Steve on hold. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll be back right after this.
Got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
I checked the temperature this morning before I left. The high today is going to be almost 90.
All right. Tyler said to check it now. So go over to put the headset on the computer, and let's see if it's working. But you got to do it quickly because we got a break here.
Kilowatts. He's going to tell you how he can save you big money on your electric bill.
We're facing the onslaught of summer.
Yeah, I can't hear anything coming from your end.
Noticing that, if they haven't noticed already, that their air conditioners
Nope.
running non-stop lights in the house. A lot of times
Try again. No, he's probably listening on his phone because I can't hear you from the headset. I hear nothing.
We've been doing Radio Bear in South Florida for 10 years. I mean, we did Steve Kane's house probably 10 years ago when I first started doing this in South Florida. Radio Bear stops Steve Kane in the
Yeah, all right. We're going to have to call the engineer after the show, I guess, and he'll walk you through. But he's going to have to stay on the phone then.
Let's explain
Okay,
to people
all right.
what radiant barrier is. We have known Scott from Cut My Kilowatts for well over a decade. He's with us every summer here on the Steve Kane Show. In the heat of the summer, the attic, how hot does an attic get during the summer, Scott?
It can get, depending on what kind of roof it has, with a shingle or tile, shingle being the hottest, 140.
Ryan, $5 super chat. Thank you. Brian should interview Joe Brown. I think it'd be amazing. I did message Joe Brown yesterday. I haven't heard back from him yet.
Hot, and of course your air conditioning ducts are in your ceiling. It heats them up, and it makes your air conditioner work longer, harder, causing your electric bill going up, struggling to keep your house cool. So Scott has the radiant barrier. So tell people what radiant barrier is and how it works.
Radiant barrier is like a big aluminum foil tarp that goes on the underside of the roof deck below the trusses, so there's an air gap so it doesn't damage the roof. And it basically just turns the heat wave that comes down off the roof around and pushes it back up out the roof. So it makes your roof function like a white shingle reflective roof. You know, you see those white roofs on people's houses. They put them on because it cuts their electric bill 25-30%. Same thing with radiant barrier. You put it in on the underside of your roof deck. You know, it's like $1 a square foot, and we've even got a special if you spend 2,000 square feet or more, you get an additional $500 off. So, I mean, hey, it's very reasonable. It's very affordable. This time of year, you know, you're getting it for half price, plus you're getting additional money off. We also do traditional insulation, and we do ductwork. So we can do like the complete job in your attic, whatever you need up in your attic. Insulation, ductwork, you know, radiant barrier. We can do the
We're updated. Just sometimes technical things happen, Chris.
It's going to be about 88, 89 degrees here in South Florida. We're not in the hottest heat of the summer yet. We will be soon. And because they can get the
But you're getting kind of a behind-the-scenes look on YouTube.
I'm going to give you Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. I'm going to give you his website and his number. If you miss this, it's listed at
Steve Kane Show.
SteveKaneShow.com. First, you can give Scott a call at 954-939-1500.
Okay, hold on.
939-1500. Online, cutmykilowatts.com. And again, listed at SteveKaneShow.com. Scott will save you money on your electric bill this and every summer. All right, Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, have a great day. We will talk later in the week.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney.
Steve had a power outage at his house. That's the problem.
With the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing, avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1.
All right, third and final hour has begun. It is 4 minutes after 8. I'm Brian. You with us, Steve?
I am here.
Okay, you'll be over the phone. We'll take care of the other stuff after the show. All right, now if you're just tuning in, a lot's been going on today. If you're on hold, stand by. Judge Joe Brown, who's very famous, very well known, very prominent in the black community, was a TV judge. He had shared an experience that he himself witnessed in Delaware at the state capitol of Joe Biden, talking against integration of the public schools, arguing for segregation to continue, referring to African Americans as Negroes and cockroaches, terrible stuff. So let's go to the phones. You're on the radio. What's your name? Good morning, caller. I hear you. Oh, my goodness. I tell you, I just feel like taking the rest of the whole freaking week off because everything's just been a disaster. You're not working, your thing's not working, your other thing's not working. Let me take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, real quick, I just want to say, Brian, when Joe Biden gave a speech a while back, and he was talking about the young black kids, and then mentioned, I know something about cockroaches. Now you can put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Joe, and then that comment he made during that speech, that's a dog whistle if I've ever heard one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, you know, Joe Brown, this event that he was at was a very high-profile publicity event where he heard Joe Biden speak this way. If somebody at Fox News would be more interested in things other than the blonde hair dye on all the chicks on Outnumbered, they would go to Joe Brown, have him on, find out when this event was, and go get some of the newspaper accounts of the day to verify it and get him on television.
Absolutely. I mean, these sports people and TV personalities get in trouble for saying one word. This guy, they praise after doing what he does. I don't get it.
Yeah. All right. Take care. All right. Now, I'm going to before we get to the Kamala Harris thing, I'm going to replay the Biden portion, and I'm doing that for a particular reason. Those of you who have children in the car, the part about Kamala Harris, you may not want young children to hear. So I'm just going to give you a heads up on that, okay? Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
How you doing, Brian? This is Eric Tate.
Hey, Eric in Philadelphia. What's up? What's up?
Yeah, I just want to call you. I heard that whole interview. That interview with Judge Joe Brown. That was on Kwame Brown's YouTube.
Yep.
Whole interview with him.
I've seen it too.
The whole interview.
Well, what are your thoughts?
The way that he broke it down, Brian, was just like crazy. All that. And I remember as a kid when my dad had to do assignment out there in Delaware, where he heard bits and pieces of what was Joe was talking about prejudice and stuff, and racial, calling blacks monkeys and all this other crazy. So that's just a little insight what I heard as a kid from my parents when my dad witnessed something, and my dad said, "Come on, let's go home. We're out of here." My mom and my dad, my brother said, "We're out of here." So that's just a little insight what I heard me as a kid in the 70s. I just want to...
Well, what do you think? You know, now this interview is a couple days ago. It's making the rounds on the internet. I've not yet seen it in television news. Where's Fox, One America, Newsmax? I mean, to me, this is very newsworthy because Joe Brown's interview was this week on YouTube, and it's the week that Obama might as well be Obama, that Biden went to Tulsa with this race baiting speech 2 days ago. This is very relevant today about who this man is. Why do you think we haven't seen it on television yet?
Right, exactly, Brian. It's been going on for years. They refuse to report it because they don't want anything that goes politically against the Democratic Party, which is racism, and it's just the typical, brainwashing.
Yeah. All right. Well, appreciate the call, Eric in Philadelphia. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
George, Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, George.
Hi. I think Biden's going to play it the following way. He said, Biden claims we're all racist, okay? So, and that includes him. So he'll say this is living proof that we have to be reprogrammed.
Oh, starting with him.
Starting with him.
Biden thinks things are so racist in this country because he's racist, so he just assumes everyone's like him.
Yeah, well, I don't think he thinks, but that's a detail.
No, I don't think he's as checked out as people think. I'm not saying that he doesn't have moments, but he has more good moments than you realize. He hides behind that, I think.
Yeah, that's been my point, too. I think this Alzheimer's, whatever it is, dementia, that's all a red herring.
Mm-hmm.
Really he is that way.
Well, I'm waiting for our black liberal callers, Wheezy, Wayne, Sound of Silence. They have no comment. They don't want to hear what their president thinks of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, take care, man. Take care. All right, now, if you have young children in the car, I'm going to play the Biden portion to give you a little time to turn down the radio, because after the Biden portion, we're going to replay it. We're going to play the clip with Judge Brown talking about Kamala Harris. And young children, the content with Kamala Harris is inappropriate for young children, so I want to give people a chance to get their young children away from the radio. This is Judge Joe Brown talking about Biden.
Joe Biden, who got up there, and when the speech he gave, I was really offended. I heard it right outside the state capitol building in Dover, which was a rundown, ramshackle old house, 250 years old. Mm-hmm. And he said Negro children are like roaches. If they're allowed to integrate the schools, they will infest them and they will never be gotten out. Negro.
Joe Biden said that?
Yeah, I heard it. Saw it. Said Negroes were animals. They turned the streets into jungle. He and Senator Eastland had a plan where they could put all of these Negro animals in zoo. Now, we talk about the 94 crime bill. That was, 91 was bad.
91
was really bad. 81 was the one where one rock got you 5 years, which due to some other stuff Biden and Stennis and Eastland did. It wasn't 5 years with parole. They abolished federal parole. So you get 5 years, you get 60 months, and you get released with all good and honor time at 56 months from federal custody. And then that was the 81 when then there was the 79 and the 77. So let's give blame where blame is due. That bastard has been a racist dog, and he used to talk about he understood the Negro because he was raised in Delaware. And he said Delaware was a proud slave-owning state that basically copped out by not going with the South during the rebellion as it should have.
Now, the rebellion is known as the Civil War. So Biden saying terrible things. Okay, now I'm assuming that parents with young children have gotten the kids away from the radio or turned the volume down now. The next part he talks about Kamala Harris. I added two bleeps to this. One is the F word, is the second. The first bleep, just so you know, he has a nickname for Kamala that we can't use on the radio, Steve. It's a word that rhymes with hum, but starts with the letter C. And it's part of the nickname for Kamala, but it's one of the words we can't say on the radio, so I had to bleep that out. But it's a word that rhymes with hum, but starts with the letter C. And I think most people can figure that out. So here's Joe Brown talking about the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
And then you got Queenla Imhoff in there. You know Imhoff in?
No.
Yes, you do.
Who?
Mrs. Imhoff, Vice President of the United States, who goes by her maiden name.
Miss Kamala?
Kamala Harris. She's a witch, and she is a corrupt witch. She's been corrupt her whole life.
Steve Kane Show.
The way to the top.
Steve Kane Show.
They used to detail this witch in the LA Times with her sexual escapade. Damn near everybody tried to get her be a frat when she was at Howard. And she ain't black. You know
I ain't got to do with this, Miss Harris.
See, this guy, he's afraid of Kamala. He's like, I got nothing to do with this, Miss Harris.
I mean, well, don't, but she's
I'm just listening.
Well, here's the thing. I actually met her father in Jamaica. I was the guest, said at the governor.
Okay, so wow, I mean, so this is some big revelations about Biden and Kamala from Judge Joe Brown. TV blackout on what do they call it? It's embargoed. They can't put it on TV, and that's some shocking stuff, Steve. And you know,
is how we in America went through an entire presidential election campaign with that, what we just heard out there, and it never became public.
Yeah, where was Joe Brown then, right, during the campaign with these stories? Yeah, I know. I wish you'd have come out 6 months ago, 8 months ago, a year ago.
Everyone's going to tell me it's too late.
No, it's not too late. It's not too late. I'm glad it's out there now, but we could have used this 8 months ago.
Or because I'm still having a problem believing my ears.
Well, that's all we got for now, Steve. So we'll have to wait for more. But yeah, I know, it's crazy. This is insane stuff. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. And, you know, think about this. It takes a lot.
I want to say something. It's not, if you take what you believe about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, it's not out of character with what we would expect, but to actually hear it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Yeah, I know.
Take this guy out of the way.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's talking about, you've got Biden talking about black people in a worse way than Jeremiah was talking about white people. Remember Jeremiah, right? I mean, I think his comments are more shocking than that. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Yes, Patricia Lorelli.
Hey, Patricia. You're on the radio. Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to mention that this Dr. Peter Daszak, who was a co-worker of Fauci, he accepted the monies and stuff,
Yeah.
He was put in charge to go over and check the lab. So, to me, there's a lot of conspiracies going on there.
Oh, you're talking about the Fauci emails. Well, all this stuff coming out about Fauci, what do you take from it as a whole, though? What's like your conclusion of the whole thing?
Oh, in the beginning I thought he was in it. He's just a dishonest person.
Well, yeah, it's that old question. What did Dr. Fauci know, and when did he know it? Yeah.
He should definitely be, there should be criminal charges brought up against him, because he could, if they knew how to make this virus, they might be an answer.
Well, one thing, Tucker Carlson last night had a great segment on Dr. Fauci, and what Tucker Carlson showed last night is what the emails show is that Dr. Fauci lied under oath to Congress, which is a crime. They put people in jail for this these days.
Yes, they should. They should, and they should throw away the key.
Mm-hmm.
Thousands and thousands that died.
Yeah.
Been on this also, because he's a co-worker and he was placed in charge.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, appreciate the call. All right. Listen, we'll take our break. It's 18 minutes after the hour. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number toll free 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. We will be back right after this.
You covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Ryan Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
I had 2 bald ties in the back of my Infiniti. I called them up, and I feel like I always check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Half the price? Half the price at Friendly Tire. Wow.
Half the price, and not only that, his tires, which the tires I was looking at had any mileage guarantee. His is 60,000 mile warranty. So they're not only half the price, the price is good.
So you're a repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So you bought new tires, because they also sell used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. But you bought new tires, and they were half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000 mile warranty on the tires. That's great. And of course, Friendly Tire, they never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. The prices that they give you are out the door and on the road. And
everybody should go there. I don't know how anybody can buy tires anyplace else. This guy is the best prices.
That's right. That's right. Listen, give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. His number, 954-977-9445. He'll give you a quote right over the phone, 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net, or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekaneshow.com, 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate, and that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane here. It is the Steve Kane Show. Now, have you've seen these pictures in the news, Steve, of AOC's grandmother's house in Puerto Rico? No. Oh, it's showing the condition of AOC's grandmother's house in Puerto Rico. There's about 8 buckets in the living room catching water from the ceiling that is leaking, all kinds of water. It looks almost as bad as your house that's being worked on right now by Tom Laporta and Laporta Contracting. Tom Laporta, he texted me some photographs from your roof yesterday. They removed the old tiles and everything, and your roof has more water damage than I don't know how you were handling it over there, but it's being repaired now. And when it's done, I'll put some before and after pictures online for you all to see. But when you have a little wet spot on your ceiling, by the time it gets to your ceiling level, you've got a big problem up at the roof level. You've got standing water under your tiles, under your shingles. It's rotting that plywood, creating a pool of water. And water is one of the most destructive things on this planet, and it's been rotting Steve's house. One of your walls on your second floor is pretty much rotted out just from the water pool that was underneath your tiles on the roof.
And luckily, Tom Laporta is repairing it all, but these are things that can be avoided. If you have a minor leak and a wet spot on your ceiling, call Tom Laporta. He'll do a free inspection, and you may need just a simple repair, unlike Steve, who's having a whole new house built around him. Call Tom Laporta. It's a completely free roof inspection. His number, 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, and online, LaportaContracting.com. All right, let's go back to our phones. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian and Steve.
Hello, Andrea. How's it going?
I'm very well. How are you guys this morning? Good. So, Brian, I just want to point out one thing here about AOC's grandmother and AOC.
Mm-hmm.
AOC's grandmother is actually living what people live who live in socialist countries. And AOC is actually living as the elite socialists do, right? AOC's got a $70,000 car. Her grandmother is living in squalor. That's what happens when socialists.
Well, unfortunately, Puerto Rico is not a country. It's a territory of the United States and is not a as part of a socialist country. It may look like one, but, AOC is so stupid. She's got the mind of a chipmunk is smarter than her. She lives in a luxury apartment in D.C. She drives a $70,000 Tesla. She lives a life of luxury, earning 6 figures a year, and she has no husband and no children. So she's got a lot neglectful of her grandmother, and she puts it online and says, "Well, where's Donald Trump fixing my grandmother's living room?"
That's the point I'm trying to make, right? What AOC is she's, first of all, she's a perpetual victim. But this is typical Democratic behavior. So I'm going to post a picture of my grandmother living in squalor while I'm living an outstanding life for somebody who's a bartender.
Yeah. And, well, see, in AOC's, the point you're making, which is true, in AOC's world, family's not responsible. You're not responsible for your own house. The government is. She's sitting around waiting for the government, even though she earns 6 figures a year, has very low expenses. She's waiting for the government to fix her grandmother's house.
But here's the other half of the equation. Like going back to Joe Brown about Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that all Democrats have in common is that they have no morals, they have no ethics, and they have no standards. And going beyond Joe Biden's racist speech and that disgusting news conference he held yesterday about trying to basically snowball the American people into getting a vaccine that maybe some people don't want to get it, right? That is Joe Biden's completely inappropriate behavior with children.
And he did it again. I mean, he had that incident on Friday. They got a lot of publicity about the girl with the Bretts and all that craziness. And then he's chatting it up later over the weekend with a teenage girl at the ice cream shop, all alone, one-on-one, which was creepy as hell. And then he gave that speech, was it yesterday's speech, where he left the stage to go talk to the kids in the audience? I mean, it's just a weirdo.
He's saying a 10-year-old girl looks like she's 19. Like that is alarming. But if you look at what he's doing on the southern border, what is the most affluent amount of illegal immigrants costing? Children, small children who are being shipped in to God knows where and given to God knows who.
Yeah.
Joe, I don't know how that woman yesterday did not get up with her children and leave. And shame on her for not doing that.
Well, when you're dealing with, it's a little scary. Like, I remember once David Letterman had Barbara Bush on the David Letterman show when she was First Lady, all right, Bush 41, and he told a joke she didn't like, and Barbara Bush punched him in the arm hard. And David Letterman said it as a joke. He says, well, I don't know who's going to get in trouble for that, Mrs. Bush. Are the Secret Service going to come after me for you hitting me? You know what I mean? So when you're in a situation with your children like that, and the President of the United States makes an inappropriate, disgusting comment, there's a lot of shock. And then what do? You're talking about, a guy who's President of the United States with all the protections that come along with that. What do you do? Well, I would leave. Yeah. I would hope you would leave.
How old is your daughter? Your daughter?
Yeah, 22.
Right. Suppose you're out with your daughter, and let's just say you're in some Democratic state like the hellhole I live in Pennsylvania, and Governor Wolf comes up to your 22-year-old daughter and makes an inappropriate comment like that. You, being the responsible parent that you are, would say something and you would leave. Now, the woman probably wouldn't say anything to Joe Biden, but she should have gathered her children and left. What they are doing to the children of this country is absolutely horrific. The Obamas included, the most oppressed.
Well, and I'll tell you another thing too, okay? Because I was listening to Tim Allen, the comedian. He's conservative, and you guys should look this up. There's a great commencement address Tim Allen gave at Hillsdale College, which is really interesting. But I think it was Tim Allen I heard say this the other day. He said they're doing away with masculinity among the men in this country, and it's a way to bring society down. Like I was watching. The local news, I've got this app where I get local news from around the country, and I was watching the local news in Columbus, Ohio, and they have more shootings there than we have in Miami, and they're getting a new police chief, a black woman, and she's the first black female police chief. If you notice, every job is now mostly a woman, usually a black woman. They don't let men run anything. So an average guy today who's the father of a child as young as that girl who had creepy Joe Biden, with those comments the other day, he's probably about 30 and a snowflake millennial who's not a masculine man who stands up for his daughter. You know what I mean? He's one of these new school snowflake with the skinny pants on.
And I have been saying this for a while now, right? You have a bunch. And a lot of this has to do with the feminist movement. You have a lot of men who have been hamstrung by not only feminists, but now LGBTQ.
Well, a girl like that, I don't know anything about this girl, but, it's at a Democrat event close to the Democrat president. There's 50-50 chance she might have two dads, you know what I mean? Or two moms. So you just don't have strong masculine parents anymore. The old school thinking is, a guy makes an inappropriate comment about his daughter, the dad stands up and protects his daughter's honor. But you got a bunch of pansies today. They don't stand up. They're snowflakes.
Well, exactly. That's why you have callers like Big C and Right Too.
Mm-hmm.
I offended the other day.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. I want manly men in this country. I want men with conservative values because I live in a very liberal town, and let me tell you, it's
I saw Kamala Harris's husband at the I guess the State of the Union or something that Biden gave, and they showed him clapping in the audience. I've never seen a man applaud like that before in my life. And, he didn't. That's not how men applaud. It was very strange. It was very effeminate.
Well, yeah, because he has to being a beta male, he has to it's almost like they have to overplay, right? It has to be too low to win.
Yeah.
You knew that you were married to somebody who slept their way to the top, like Kamala Harris did, who doesn't have...
Well, I don't think she did much sleeping. I think she was wide awake the whole time.
Probably not, but think about it. How would you act knowing that your wife only got to...
Yeah.
because she's a...
Okay. Tell us what you really think, Andrea. Tell us what you really... Yeah. All right, listen, on that note, we got to take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's 31 minutes after the hour. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve is with us on the phone today. We'll take our break and be right back with more of your calls after this break. 1-888-GO-KANE1 is the number. 888-465-2631.
Hey guys, Brian Craig here. I have the MyPillow slippers, and Mike Lindell, he's right. These are the most comfortable slippers I've ever worn. And you can get them for 40% off at MyPillow.com with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. One of our listeners called in on the air and told us about his experience with the MyPillow My Slippers.
Brian, I have the MyPillow slippers, and I have neuropathy. These are fantastic slippers.
Really? Which ones do you have? Which style do you have?
The fur line.
Oh, the slip-on fur line ones?
Yeah, inside, outside.
What is neuropathy, and what are the symptoms?
Well, the nerves in your feet start going bad, and it's...
Steve Kane Show.
It affects your balance, and it's painful.
Hold on.
MyPillow, My Slippers, which, by the way, 40% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and it's helped with your neuropathy.
Yes, it is. It's much. I have to wear the slippers.
I watched the whole interview of Judge Brown. I just pulled those clips off to play. I watched the whole thing.
I have to wear that. And I also have the MyPillow pillow and the MyPillow mattress topper. And
That mattress topper is unbelievable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh,
my
man.
wife loves it.
Oh, man. I know, they're all great. Yeah, I know. And by the way, when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, 40% off the MyPillow slippers, 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper, and you get 2 free MyPillows with it. So it's great. Well, that's awesome. Order your MyPillow My Slippers 40% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. Or call 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. You with us, Steve? Steve, you with us? Okay. Now, I got to tell, I was talking earlier, you guys on YouTube can see this. People watching on YouTube, they think I just rolled out of bed and came in here because I'm wearing a bathrobe. I'm wearing my MyPillow bathrobe today. I've been wearing it for the whole show. Wore it to work today. And the reason I'm wearing my MyPillow bathrobe is they are back in stock. The MyPillow bathrobes have been out of stock for quite some time for both men and women. And last month for Mother's Day, you didn't hear us promoting the MyPillow bathrobes for Mother's Day because they've been out. And yesterday, they just got them back in. And I'm wearing, mine is medium. I've got the gray. They're available in both men and women's. I ordered 2 yesterday for gifts for people. And it's 30% off the MyPillow bathrobe with the promo code KANE. And I'll tell you this, I think they're going to sell out, and they're going to sell out quick. So you want to go and order yours now. They make a great gift for Father's Day. They have the pockets on them are perfectly placed. And the one I'm wearing is a medium. If you're wondering, if you guys are watching, I'm wearing a medium. They come in large and extra large as well for the men, and they come in multiple colors for both men and women. They make a great Father's Day gift, but I wouldn't wait. You want to order it and order it quickly because I believe they will sell out because they have people have been waiting for these for months, and they're just back in. So go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, for 30% off. You can also order by phone, 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. Back to the phones. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hi, Brian. Brian, this is John. I've been able to speak. I'm wondering, though, if the Democratic Party didn't have a thing against him that he couldn't for a long time.
Well, I don't. You may know more about Judge Brown than I do. I mean, I know who he is, but I never watched his show, and I don't follow him. I'm not in the. I haven't watched court TV shows since Wapner. Well, you think he had a drinking problem? Well,
Well, what I'm wondering is, well, they'll use that against him if he keeps telling the truth about Biden and Kamala. But is his show